We ended up eating Korean food. Ended up? What does that mean? I'm Teacher Mike, and today we are talking about 7 very common English phrasal verbs that you can use when talking to friends, family, and coworkers. You probably already know some of these, but even if you already know them, you might not be using them correctly. And you might not know all of the details that I am going to give you about them in this video. So, our first phrasal verb is speak up, which means to speak louder. If you're having a conversation with someone and it's difficult to hear what they are saying, you can ask them to speak up. For example, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Could you please speak up a little? Also, it's always just speak up. We never add an object, so we never say things like, please speak that up, or speak up your voice. We usually just say something like, could you please speak up, or I need you to speak up. Next, we have drop off. To drop something or someone off means to take them somewhere and leave them there. For example, she drops her daughter off at school each morning. Or, I need to drop a package off at the post office. Speakers of some languages want to use the verb send in these situations, but that is not correct. Also, this is a separable phrasal verb, which means that you can say drop off someone or drop someone off. So you can say she drops off her daughter or she drops her daughter off. Both are correct and they mean the exact same thing. However, it's important to remember that when we use a separable phrasal verb with a pronoun, such as you, me, him, or her, the pronoun needs to go in the middle. So you can say drop her off, but you can't say drop off her. Our third phrasal verb is pay back, which basically means to return money that you borrowed from someone. And with this one, the object can be either the money or the person. For example, you could say, I lent him $300 and he hasn't paid me back yet. Or you could say, I'm still waiting for him to pay back the money that he owes me. Also, just like with the last one, if you have a pronoun, the pronoun needs to be in the middle. So you can say, he hasn't paid me back yet. But you can't say, he hasn't paid back me yet. Number 4 is run out of. And this one means to use or sell something until you do not have any more of it. For example, we've run out of milk. This means that we had milk, but we drank all of it or used all of it in cooking, and now we don't have any more of it. Or we're going to run out of time. This means that soon we will not have any more time. And we can also say that we are out of something. But this only tells us about a state or a situation, whereas run out of focuses on the change. It focuses on someone doing something or something happening. For example, the restaurant is out of French fries. In that sentence, nothing is happening. It just tells us that there are no more French fries in the restaurant right now. But if we say they ran out of French fries, in that sentence, something happened. They cooked and sold the last of the French fries. Phrasal verb number 5 is grow up. And this is one that most English learners know, but many do not use correctly. To grow up basically means to change or develop from a child into an adult. For example, a common way to ask a child what career they want for the future is, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Or if you want to say that you lived somewhere from when you were young until you became an adult, you can say that you grew up there. For example, I grew up in the United States. And now I want to be very clear about something, because there is a mistake that I see a lot of people make. Grow up is not used to talk about something becoming bigger or better. It's only used to talk about humans and animals becoming adults. So you cannot say things like, "I want to grow up my business," or "I want to grow up my vocabulary." In those examples, we would probably use a verb like develop, improve, or increase, but not grow up. Also, grow up never has an object. You can't grow something up or grow someone up. For that, we would use the verb raise. For example, I was raised by my mother and father. That means that my mother and father were the people who took care of me while I was growing up. Next, we have end up, which we use to describe how something is in the end, especially if it is different from how it was in the beginning. For example, our original plan was to have pasta for dinner, but we ended up having Korean food. Or we wanted to play football, but we ended up staying home because of the weather. In those examples, I used end up followed by a gerund. However, there are also lots of other ways to use it, so I'll probably make another video about that in the future. And number 7 is get around, which basically means to travel or get from one place to another. But we usually only use this one to talk about traveling places within a town or city, not going places that are very far away. So it's more about your daily life, not about traveling places for vacation or other things like that. For example, when I lived in Bangkok, I usually got around by train or taxi. Or, in the US, it can be difficult to get around if you don't have a car. And one thing that I want you to notice is that when we use get around, we do not give a specific place that we are going to. This is because we use it to talk about going places in general, not about going to one specific place, one specific time. We do sometimes use get around followed by a specific place, but it doesn't mean go to that place. What it means is go different places within that place. So if you are visiting Bangkok, you might ask, what's the best way to get around Bangkok? That means when I am in Bangkok, what is the best way to get from one place to another? For example, if I want to get from my hotel in Bangkok to a shopping mall, which is also in Bangkok, what's the best way to do that? And originally, this video was going to have 12 phrasal verbs, but I realized it was going to be a bit too long, so I ended up only including 7. Also, a few of these phrasal verbs also have other meanings that I didn't talk about in this video. So yes, some of these can also have different meanings in different situations. And if you'd like to learn or review some other useful English phrasal verbs, make sure to watch this video right here. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for watching.